Have you ever wondered why we celebrate Christmas on December 25th? It feels like a date set in stone, but the story behind it is more complex and fascinating than you might think. This isn't a video about faith or belief. That's a personal journey for everyone. Instead, we're going to put on our historian hats and look at the records, the timelines, and the cultural forces that shaped this tradition. It's a journey through how history and belief can coexist, each telling a different part of the story. So, let's explore how December 25th became the day we associate with Christmas. First, let's go back to the original source. The Bible describes the birth of Jesus in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, giving us details about shepherds, a manger, and wise men. But one crucial detail is missing. A date. There's no mention of a specific day or even a month. For early Christians, the focus was much more on Jesus' teachings, his ministry, and especially his death and resurrection, not his birthday. In fact, in the early Christian world, celebrating birthdays wasn't a common practice at all. It was often seen as a custom from other cultures. Because there was no recorded date, different early Christian communities had different ideas. Some theologians proposed dates in the spring, like March or April, while others suggested dates in May or November. For the first couple of hundred years, there wasn't a unified agreement, and many didn't celebrate it as a major event at all. The idea of a universal Christmas celebration simply hadn't formed yet. During the first few centuries of Christianity, Christmas as we know it didn't exist. In fact, some prominent early Christian writers, like Origen of Alexandria, were quite critical of celebrating birthdays. They often associated the practice with pagan traditions or the birthdays of Roman emperors, viewing it as something worldly rather than spiritual. This perspective wasn't about rejecting the importance of Jesus' birth. It was about the cultural context of the time. The emphasis was on a life of faith and the spiritual rebirth of believers, rather than marking a physical birthday. This shows us that traditions don't appear overnight. They grow, evolve, and sometimes merge with the world around them. The formal, widespread celebration of Christmas as a major feast day came much later in Christian history. Once the faith became more established within the Roman Empire, the groundwork was being laid, but the structure wasn't built yet. So, if early Christians weren't focused on a specific date, why did December 25th eventually win out? To understand this, we need to look at the world where Christianity was growing. The Roman Empire. In ancient Rome, late December was already a huge party season. It was a time filled with light, feasting, and celebration. One of the biggest festivals was Saturnalia, an event honoring the god Saturn. It was a week-long celebration filled with feasts, gift-giving, role reversals where masters served slaves, and homes decorated with greenery. It was a time of joy and social goodwill. Another major festival that gained prominence around the 3rd century was Dies Natalis Solis Invictus, which means the birthday of the unconquered sun, celebrated on December 25th. This festival marked the winter solstice, the point when the days start getting longer again. For people in the ancient world, this was a powerful moment. It symbolized the victory of light over darkness, the promise of warmth, and the renewal of life. December 25th was already a day packed with meaning, representing hope and the return of light after the darkest time of the year. Now, let's connect the dots. As Christianity spread and became the official religion of the Roman Empire in the 4th century, its leaders faced a practical challenge. How do you introduce new beliefs and holidays to a population that is deeply attached to centuries-old traditions like Saturnalia and Sol Invictus? History shows us that a common strategy wasn't to eliminate existing festivals, but to adapt and transform them. Trying to ban a popular celebration could create resistance, but giving it a new meaning was a much smoother path. December 25th was the perfect candidate. The themes of the unconquered sun, festival light, conquering darkness, renewal, and hope aligned beautifully with Christian symbolism. Jesus was often referred to as the light of the world in Scripture. So, by placing the celebration of his birth on this day, church leaders could offer a powerful new narrative. It wasn't about replacing a festival of the sun, but about celebrating the birth of the Son of God. This approach allowed people to continue their festive traditions, like feasting and decorating while shifting the focus of their worship. It was a brilliant move, both theologically and culturally. Over the centuries, What began as a church observance on December 25th slowly transformed into the rich cultural holiday we know today. The religious celebration came first, but the cultural customs followed, layering on top of one another like rings on a tree. The Christmas carols we sing, the tradition of decorating trees, the practice of giving gifts, many of these elements were added much later, often drawing from various European folk traditions. For example, the Christmas tree has roots in German traditions that became popular in the English-speaking world in the 19th century. Understanding this historical development doesn't take away from the spiritual meaning Christmas holds for billions of people. Instead, it provides a richer context. It shows how faith and culture interact, how traditions evolve, and how ancient human impulses for celebration, light, and community are carried forward through time. History tells the story of the tradition's journey, while faith provides its enduring purpose. So, to wrap it all up, the choice of December 25th for Christmas wasn't an accident, nor was it based on a known birth date. It was a decision shaped by the currents of history, culture, and human nature. It was a practical and symbolic choice made within the context of the Roman world, linking the birth of the light of the world to the moment the sun begins its return. Understanding this history doesn't challenge belief. It enriches Italiano. It helps us see how our most cherished traditions are formed, how they absorb elements from the world around them, and how they survive and thrive through centuries. In the end, history can explain the how and the when, leaving faith to explain the why. Thanks for watching. We'll be exploring more fascinating stories from history soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.